The sun hadn't risen yet, but 12-year-old Arham was already awake. His books were packed, his white shirt ironed the night before, and his plastic sandals placed neatly near the door. His heart beat faster than it had ever done. Today was the day his life might finally change. He stood near the window of his small house made of bricks and tin, watching the dusty road outside. His village, far from the city, had never seen electricity stay for more than a few hours. But that didn't stop Arham from dreaming. His school teacher had once said, "When you can't afford light, let fire burn inside you." 3 months ago, Arham had made something unusual from scrap: an eco-cooler, made with old bottles and wood. It could cool down a room without electricity. He showed it at a school fair. That day, a man in a tie had visited and clicked pictures. "This should be at the National Science Expo," the man had said. Arham didn't know what that meant at the time. He just knew it sounded big. Last week, a letter arrived. His name was printed in bold. "You are invited to represent your province at the National Science Expo, Lahore." It didn't feel real. His mother cried, holding the letter close to her chest. That night she worked till midnight sewing clothes under a small oil lamp. "We'll find a way," she had said. And they did. A local businessman, Mr. Farid, agreed to sponsor Arham's travel, accommodation, and food. "You make us proud," he said. For the first time, Arham felt like someone saw him not just a poor boy, but a creator now. Just before sunrise, Arham checked his small bag again. He had packed his invention carefully with cloth, tape, and hope. His mother placed a hot roti and boiled egg in his hand. "Eat on the way," she said softly, tying a scarf around his neck. "It smells like you," he whispered. She smiled, eyes tired, but shining. Just as he was about to step outside, a knock came on the door. It was Sagid Bhai, the assistant, from Mr. Farid's shop. He looked uncomfortable, not meeting Arham's eyes. "What happened?" his mother asked. Sajid hesitated, then spoke. "I'm sorry." Farid Saab cancelled. Something urgent came up. He can't sponsor the trip now. The words hung in the air like smoke. Arham's heartbeat, once full of hope, slowed down like a dying clock. "No, there must be a mistake," his mother said. Sajid shook his head. "He asked me to say sorry. Times are tough." With that, he left. The door closed again, and so did Arham's dream. Silence filled the small room. Arham sat down, his bag beside him. He didn't cry. He just stared at the floor. His mother touched his shoulder. "Maybe next year," she whispered. "There won't be a next year," he replied. This was the only chance. His fingers gripped the scarf around his neck. "How far is Lahore?" he asked suddenly. His mother blinked. 40 miles. "Why? What? If I walk?" She looked at him in shock. "You're a child. You've never even been to the next town." He stood up slowly. "I'm not a child today. If I don't go, I'll never forgive myself." She tried to argue, but his eyes said more than his words ever could. She sat down, holding the scarf to her chest. A long pause passed. Then she stood, walked to the shelf, and pulled out 2 boiled eggs and a small bottle of water. "Eat one now. Save the other for later. You're letting me go?" She nodded. "I can't walk with you, but I walked all night in my prayers." Arham smiled for the first time since Sajid left. He hugged her tight. She kissed his forehead. "Don't talk to strangers. Don't sleep on the road. And come back stronger." He placed the bag on his back. It was heavy but not heavier than his hopes. As the first light of day broke through the clouds, Arham stepped outside. No transport, no money, just his invention, his mother's scarf, and his bare feet in plastic sandals. With every step, dust rose behind him. With every mile, the story of the boy who was left behind was just beginning. The road was long, broken, and silent. Arham had never been outside his village alone. He didn't know the names of the towns ahead, or how many hours it would take. He just knew Lahore was far on. His chance to prove himself was even farther. The early morning wind hit his face. Birds flew above. Free. He looked up and whispered, "Please walk with me, God." His slippers slapped the dry road with every step. The small bottle of water dangled from his side. He took a small sip, saving the rest. His bag bounced on his back. Inside it, his inventions stayed tightly wrapped, protected like a baby. After 2 hours of walking, he reached a small settlement. A tea shop had just opened. Men were sitting, smoking, talking about politics. Arham stood near a corner, tired. His legs hurt already. A kind-looking uncle behind the counter noticed him. "You look tired. Where are you going, Beta?" Arham hesitated. "Lahore." The men at the shop laughed. One said, "Lahore? On foot? Are you mad?" Arham didn't answer. He just looked down. The uncle came forward and gave him a glass of sweet tea. "Sit, drink. The road is longer than you think." Arham nodded, drank slowly. "Why Lahore?" someone asked. He quietly opened his bag and showed them the model. "I made this. It saves electricity. The science fair is tomorrow. I need to reach before night." There was silence. The laughter faded. The men looked at each other. The uncle placed his hand on Arham's shoulder. "People forget how big dreams can come from small homes. Go carefully, Beta." Arham smiled. His heart felt warm. He thanked them and walked again. His legs were starting to burn, but his will stayed strong. By noon, The sun was high and cruel. His clothes stuck to his back. His water was almost gone. He sat under a tree by the roadside, his head spinning. A truck passed, then stopped ahead. A man leaned out. "Kid, you okay?" Arham got up, walking towards him. "Can you drop me to the next town?" The driver looked unsure. "I don't carry passengers." Arham opened his bag and showed the model again. "I'm going to the science fair. I just need to reach." The driver paused, then smiled. "Come, sit in the back, but only till the petrol station. Then I turn left." "Thank you." Arham climbed up. For the next 20 minutes, he rode with wind in his hair and hope in his chest. At the petrol station, he got down, waved goodbye, and started walking again. The road now had more cars, but none stopped. Some stared, some ignored. One threw a biscuit packet near him. He didn't pick it. His mother had taught him never beg, even with your eyes. At sunset, Arham had walked more than 25 miles. His feet were blistered. He could barely stand. But Lahore was still far. He sat near a field, legs stretched, breathing hard. The boiled egg his mother gave was still in his bag. He ate it slowly, chewing with care. He missed her. He missed the small kitchen, the oil lamp, the smell of soap she used. He opened her scarf and wrapped it around his head. It smelled like home. Just then, he heard barking. 4 stray dogs had come near. He stood up quickly, heart pounding. They growled. He held a stick and shouted. His legs couldn't run. His body screamed in pain. He prayed silently. A bike appeared suddenly, honking loud. The dogs scattered. The biker stopped. "You okay?" Arham nodded, shaking. "Where are you going?" "Lahore." The man looked confused. "At this hour? You're mad." Arham said nothing. He had no energy to explain. The biker asked, "Do you have any family nearby?" "No, just me." The man looked at him for a while. "I can drop you a few miles, but after that, I go the other way." "Anything helps," Arham said softly. He climbed on the back. As they drove, the man asked questions. Arham answered them all: his school, his mother, the invention, the expo. "You've come this far alone?" the man asked. Arham nodded. "I couldn't afford to fail before trying." The man smiled. "I hope Lahore is ready for you." After some time, he stopped the bike. "This is where I turn." Arham got down, thanked him, and walked again. Night had fallen now. The road was darker. He walked under the moonlight, each step slower than the last. He passed sleeping buffaloes, closed shops, and dark houses. Still, he walked. Around 10 p.m., he reached a large board. "Welcome to Lahore City." He almost cried. But he didn't stop. The address in the invitation was still 3 miles ahead. He reached the building near midnight. The guards looked at him in shock. "Who are you, participant?" "For Science Expo," he said, half breathing, half dreaming. They called someone inside. A coordinator came out. "You came alone," Arham nodded. He opened his bag and showed the invention. "I made this. Please don't say I'm late." The man stared at him, shocked, then gently held his arm. "You're right on time." Arham's legs gave out. He fainted in the man's arms, but the model never left his hands. Not even then. When Arham opened his eyes, everything looked white. The ceiling, the bed, the lights. For a moment, he thought he was in heaven. But then he saw the man from last night, the event coordinator, sitting beside him, holding a water bottle. "You fainted, Beta," the man said softly. "You walked all the way here. That's not just courage. That's a miracle." Arham sat up slowly. His legs hurt, his lips were dry, but his hands, they were still holding the cloth that wrapped his model. He looked down. "My project. Safe." The man smiled. "It's kept in the main hall, and we've already listed you in the final list of participants." Arham couldn't believe it. He smiled weakly. "I made it." "You'd made it in more ways than one," the man replied. The organizers gave him food, water, and a room to rest. But the moment the sun rose fully, Arham asked, "Can I go see the expo hall?" The man nodded. A volunteer helped him walk slowly to the big glass building where the National Science Expo was happening. It was massive. Lights, cameras, sponsors, banners. Students from big private schools. They wore matching coats and ties. Their stalls had shiny posters. Some had laptops and LED screens. Arham walked in, dressed in his wrinkled kurta, his bag slung over his back, and eyes wide with wonder. He felt small, unimportant. A few kids looked at him and whispered. One laughed. Did someone lose their way to a farm? He ignored them. The volunteer guided him to an empty table with his name on a small card. Arham Aftab, solar turbine for rural homes. He carefully unwrapped his model and placed it on the table. It was simple but strong, handmade, painted with love. A solar panel on top, and a rotating blade that generated light. "Everything I learned in my village school," he whispered to himself. "I built it with my mother's prayers." Soon, the hall filled with judges. 3 of them came near Arham's table. An older man asked, "You made this yourself?" Arham nodded. "What does it do?" Arham took a deep breath and began. "Sir, in our village, we don't get electricity for more than 4 hours. My model takes sunlight during the day and stores energy. It can light 2 bulbs and charge a mobile phone for 5 hours every night. I made it with scrap and cheap parts, so it can help poor families like mine. The judges looked at each other. And how did you come here? Arham hesitated. My sponsor cancelled. So, I walked. They stared at him. Walked. From Qasr to Lahore, he said simply. I couldn't miss this chance. One of the judges stepped back, stunned. The main coordinator joined them and added, he arrived at midnight, collapsed outside the gate, but never let go of his invention. The room went quiet around them. Even the students nearby had stopped talking. One girl stepped forward and offered Arham a bottle of juice. You're amazing, she said. Arham looked down, shy. No, I just didn't want to give up. The judges thanked him and moved to the next stall. Arham sat quietly, watching others present their fancy machines and apps. One team showed a robot, another had a drone. His model felt small next to them, but inside, he held on to his mother's words. The sun rises for everyone, but only the brave walk toward it. At noon, media teams entered. They filmed the stalls. Some skipped Arham, others paused when they heard his story. A reporter came and asked, is it true? You walked 40 miles to get here. Arham nodded. I didn't have any other way. Can you show us your invention? He did. The camera zoomed in on the small machine, its blade spinning under a light. The reporter smiled. Sometimes, the smallest machines have the biggest hearts behind them. Arham became nervous. I just want people to see that even poor kids can do science. The video went live on social media within the hour, and it exploded. People shared it. The boy who walked to chase his dream, no money, no ride, just courage. His photos spread across Twitter and Facebook. Back in his village, his mother saw it on a neighbor's phone. She cried and kissed his photo on the screen. Marabeda, she whispered. He's shining brighter than the sun. By evening, the final ceremony began. All participants were seated, lights dimmed, judges came on stage. This year, the host announced, we saw many great ideas. But one boy reminded us what science is really about, not just machines, but the people behind them. Everyone looked around. He came without money, without support, but with a dream in his heart and invention in his hands. Arham's heart started racing. The lights turned toward him. The winner of the Judges' Choice Award, Arham Aftab. The room exploded in claps. Cameras flashed. Arham stood slowly, shocked. His legs shook. He walked to the stage, his eyes full. The judge handed him a gold medal and an envelope. You earned more than a prize. You've earned respect, young man. Arham took the mic. I'm not from a big school, he said softly, but I have big dreams. I didn't come here to win. I came here because I had to try. The crowd stood and clapped. The same students who had laughed earlier now cheered. Some even cried. Arham looked up at the lights and whispered in his heart, Ami, we made it. But just as he stepped off the stage, his phone rang. It was an unknown number. He answered. A deep voice said, we saw your story. We need to talk. A company wants to buy your invention. Arham froze. The medal in his hand, the future on the phone. The story had just begun. Arham's hands trembled as he held the phone. The man on the other side introduced himself as Mr. Hassan, a representative of a big tech company in Lahore. Your invention has potential, he said. We want to partner with you to develop it further and bring it to market. Arham's heart leaped. This was everything he dreamed of. But then Mr. Hassan added, before we proceed, we need to meet in person. Come to our office tomorrow morning, Arham promised. He ended the call, feeling light but also nervous. That night, he couldn't sleep. What if they changed their minds? What if this was just another empty promise? The next morning, he put on his only clean shirt and set off for the company's office. The building was huge glass walls, shiny floors, and busy people in suits. Arham felt out of place. He showed his invitation at the reception and waited nervously. A young woman came to guide him to a conference room. Soon, Mr. Hassan and two other men entered. They examined his invention carefully, asked many questions, and smiled. We like your passion, Mr. Hassan said, but to invest, we need a working prototype, a patent, and a business plan. Arham nodded, but he had no money, no formal training, and no legal help. We can help with all that, Mr. Hassan added, but we expect you to sign an exclusivity contract. Arham was unsure. It meant he couldn't share his invention with anyone else, but it also meant money and support. He took the papers home to read that night. He sat with his mother's scarf in his hands. Ami, he whispered, what should I do? The next day at the village tea shop, some men heard about the contract. Be careful, one warned. Big companies can swallow small fish. Arham felt confused. Then, suddenly, the phone rang again. It was Mr. Hassan. We are ready to sign. Meet us tomorrow. But when Arham arrived at the office, the mood was different. Mr. Hassan was cold. There's been a change. We've decided not to proceed. Arham's heart sank. Why? Business reasons, Mr. Hassan said vaguely. Good luck. Arham left the building stunned. The contract, the dreams, everything vanished. Alone on the busy street, he felt small again. But then, a small voice inside whispered, this is not the end. He remembered his walk to the expo, every blister, every step, every moment. His mother's prayers carried him. That night, he decided he would not give up. If big companies wouldn't help, he would find another way. He would build his dream piece by piece, walking alone. If he had to, the next morning, he packed his bag. Not to Lahore this time, but to a city library where he could learn, a workshop where he could build, a world where his dream could grow. The road ahead was uncertain, but Arham's spirit was unbreakable. With a deep breath, he stepped out the door. His mother's scarf fluttered in the wind, and somewhere deep inside, a fire burned brighter than ever. Arham could not sleep that night. He kept reading the article again and again. The blog showed an old solar project from a university in Islamabad. It looked a little like his, but not the same. Still, the title was dangerous. People were already commenting. Some were defending him. Others were calling him a fraud. His heart was beating fast. "Why is this happening now?" he whispered. In the morning, when he reached the company office, Shahid was already waiting. His face looked serious. "Arham, we saw the blog post." Arham nodded slowly. "I didn't copy anything, sir. I swear. I built this with my own hands." Shahid took a deep breath. "I believe you. But the internet moves fast. People don't wait for proof. They judge without knowing." They walked into the meeting room. Nadia was on a video call with someone. "Arham," she said. "This is Advocate Taimur. He works with patents. He's helping us now." The lawyer spoke calmly. "I've checked the old university file. It was registered, yes, but only for academic research. It was never turned into a product. That means Arham's model, even if similar, is still unique in design and purpose." Arham's eyes lit up. "So I'm safe?" "Yes," Taimur replied. "But you need to speak. You can't stay silent while others attack your name." Nadia nodded. "Make a short video. Tell your story. Show how you built it. People will listen." Arham was nervous. He wasn't used to cameras. But this time, it was different. He was not just protecting his invention, he was protecting his truth. A young media guy helped him record. Arham sat on a simple chair, holding his model in his lap. He looked into the camera and said, "My name is Arham Aftab. I made this with broken fans, old wires, and my mother's prayers. I never copied anyone. I just wanted to help people like me, people who live in darkness." He showed his sketches, the notes in his diary, the old photos from his room. His voice was shaking but honest. "If I was wrong, I would never have walked 40 miles to show this, but I know my heart. And I know I'm telling the truth." The video was uploaded that evening. Within hours, it began spreading. Famous pages shared it. Even some scientists commented, saying Arham's design was original and built for low-cost use. The hate started to quiet down. The noise didn't vanish, but a new wave of support had returned. That night, Arham's mother called again. "I saw your video. You look scared, but brave too." "I was scared, Amy, but I couldn't stay silent." "You did right," she said. "The truth has power." Just when Arham was beginning to breathe again, another twist came. The organizers of the expo called him. "Arham, a group of engineers from Germany watched your video. They want to meet you. They're flying in next week." Arham's jaw dropped. "Germany?" "Yes. They're part of a clean energy group. They visit schools and help young inventors." Arham was speechless. He remembered his broken sandals, the 40 miles, the silence of the night on the highway, and now people from another country wanted to meet him. Shahid said, "They'll come to Lahore. We'll arrange everything, but Arham, you need to be ready. They'll ask questions. They'll want to test the model? This is your biggest chance." For the next few days, Arham stayed at the office. He worked with the company's team. They helped him prepare slides, diagrams, and small improvements in the design. He was learning fast. His eyes sparkled when he saw his model being printed in 3D. "It looks real," he said softly. "It looks like a product," Nadia said. "It is a product now. You made it real, Arham, with your mind, your hands, and your struggle." One evening while practicing his pitch, Arham got a message on Instagram. It was from a boy in interior Sindh. "Bye. I saw your video. My village also has no electricity. I want to build something too. Can you teach me?" Arham smiled. He replied, "Yes, I will teach you everything I know." That night, he felt something new. He was not just fighting for his invention now. He was becoming a voice, a light, for others like him. But the next morning, when everything seemed bright, a dark shadow appeared again. Shahid rushed into the room, with his phone in hand. "Arham, there's a new problem." "What now?" Arham asked. Standing up, Shahid showed him the screen. It was a tweet from a political figure. "This boy's story is being used for fake PR. Where are the real inventors of this country? Not these drama boys walking for fame." Arham's hands went cold. Why would he say that? "Because politics is dirty," Shahid replied, "and success brings enemies. Some people feel small when someone poor rises." Nadia walked in. "Ignore him. But we have to respond smartly. No drama, just truth." Arham felt tired. So much had happened, and now this. He looked at the window. Outside, clouds were gathering. "Why does every step forward come with a storm?" he asked. Nadia looked at him and said, "Because you're walking a path that few dare to walk." Arham nodded. He took a deep breath. "Then I'll keep walking." But he didn't know what storm was waiting next, because someone else was watching him from afar. Someone who knew a secret about Arham's past. A secret that could break everything he had built so far. Rain had started by evening. It hit the windows hard as Arham sat alone in the corner of the office. Everyone else had gone home, but his mind was full of noise. The tweet from the political figure kept repeating in his head. He had done nothing wrong, yet the world was questioning him again. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. The message said, "You forgot what you did in school. Should I remind the world?" Arham's hands froze. His eyes blinked fast. He replied, "Who is this?" No answer came. Just another message. "You pretend to be honest now, but your past isn't clean." He stood up and looked around the empty room. He felt like someone was watching him. His heart raced. He couldn't focus. He picked up his bag and left the office in the rain. On the bus ride home, memories came back, memories he had tried to bury. Back in 8th grade, there had been a fight. One of his classmates had accused Arham of cheating in a science fair. Arham didn't cheat, but the teacher had still punished him. It was the first time he felt crushed, helpless. And now, after all these years, someone was using that old wound to hurt him again. The next morning, Arham walked into the office early. Nadia was already there, typing fast. "You okay?" she asked. Arham handed her the phone. She read the messages and looked up slowly. "This is blackmail," she said. "They want to shake you before the German team arrives, but it's from school. Years ago, and I wasn't even guilty," he replied, voice low. "Doesn't matter," she said. "What matters is how you face it now." She walked to the window and looked out. "You can either hide and let them win or speak the truth again." Arham nodded. "I won't run, not this time." That same day, he posted another video. He sat in a simple white shirt, no music, no edits. "When I was in school," he said, "someone accused me of cheating. I didn't. But nobody heard me then. Today, I'm not that scared boy anymore. Today, I speak with courage." The video spread fast. Comments poured in. Some were harsh, but many were kind. One read, "You've already proved who you are. Keep going." That evening, Shahid walked in with two guests. They were from the German clean energy team. A tall man named Dr. Klaus, and a kind woman named Anna. Arham stood up quickly and shook their hands. "We saw your journey," Dr. Klaus said. "Very inspiring. But now, let us see your invention in action." Arham showed them the model. He explained the process in simple English. He showed how the system worked without heavy batteries, how it could store energy during the day and light up homes at night. Anna nodded with interest. "This could help villages in Africa too," she said. Dr. Klaus asked deep questions. Arham answered every one of them. Slowly, his confidence returned. After testing it for 2 hours, Klaus smiled. "It's not just an idea," he said. "It's a movement." Later, they sat together over chai. "Arham," Anna said, "we'd like to invite you to Berlin. There's a youth summit next month. We want you to present there." Mouth fell open. "Me, Berlin?" "Yes," Klaus said. "And after that we'll talk about building these systems together." Arham was quiet. He looked down at his hands. These same hands once picked trash for wires. Now they were shaking hands with engineers from another world. But before he could feel joy, his phone buzzed again. This time a photo came through. It was of his mother standing outside their house. The message said, "Tell the truth. She pays the price." Arham's blood ran cold. He showed it to Nadia and Shahid at once. "This is not just hate now," Nadia said. "This is a threat." Shahid picked up his phone. "We're reporting this. We're not alone anymore. You have a team now." Arham was quiet. His mind was spinning. "What do they want from me?" "They want you to quit," Nadia replied, "because your success scares them." Arham stood up. "Then I won't stop." "Good," she said. "But we'll keep your mother safe. I'm sending a team to her town tonight." As the night fell, the office turned silent again. Arham sat alone, staring at his model. From broken parts to Berlin, his journey felt unreal. But he also knew the danger was not over. In the shadows, someone was watching, planning. And soon, the final test would come. Because the summit in Berlin would not just be about science. A face from Arham's past would appear on that stage. A face he thought he would never see again. The plane landed in Berlin early in the morning. Arham looked out the window and saw snow for the first time in his life. It covered the roads like a soft white sheet. Nadia smiled beside him. "Big day," she said. "Are you ready?" Arham nodded, but deep inside his stomach felt heavy. He had not slept well. The threat about his mother still echoed in his mind. Even though Shahid had sent a team to protect her, Arham couldn't stop worrying. As they entered the airport, a tall man in a black coat walked past Arham and dropped a small note in his hand. Arham froze. He opened it slowly. It said, "You're walking into a trap. Someone you know is already here." He looked around, but the man had disappeared. Nadia asked, "What is it?" Arham showed her the note. Her face changed. "We're not alone in this anymore," she whispered. "But let's stay focused. You're here for the summit." A black car picked them up and took them to the event hall. The building was massive glass walls, flags from 30 countries, and large banners with the words "Future of Energy." Arham walked through the doors slowly. His name was printed on the schedule. Keynote speaker. I don't ali menos M. His heart skipped a beat. They were really giving him the stage. Backstage, other speakers were preparing two young inventors from Brazil, Germany, India, and Nigeria. One boy showed his water purifier. Another girl had made a wind-powered phone charger. They smiled at Arham and wished him luck. Then, just before it was his turn, a name was announced on the screen that made Arham freeze. Special guest, Mr. Fawad Mim, international sponsor and technology consultant. Arham stepped back. That name, he knew it. Fawad was the man who had once promised to sponsor Arham's invention and then canceled at the last minute, forcing Arham to walk 40 miles in the heat. Nadia saw the fear on Arham's face. Is that him? She asked. Arham nodded. He's the reason I almost gave up. Then maybe, she said, this is the moment you take your power back. Arham took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. The hall was full scientists, students, journalists, and even members of parliament. Lights blinded his eyes, but he spoke slowly, clearly. He shared how he started building with junk parts, how his mother stayed up all night sewing clothes, how people laughed at him, how a sponsor left him the night before his big moment, and how he walked alone for 40 miles just to prove he wouldn't stop. The crowd was silent. A few people wiped their eyes. When he ended, the whole room stood and clapped. Nadia clapped the loudest, but as he stepped off the stage, Arham saw Fawad standing near the back. Fawad clapped too, but his eyes were cold. After the event, Arham walked toward him. Why are you here? Arham asked. Fawad smiled. I came to see how far you would get. You left me to fail. No, Fawad said. I tested you, and you passed. Arham shook his head. I don't need your approval now. Maybe Fahud said, but others still listen to me. Be careful who you trust next. He walked away. Nadia reached Arham. He's hiding. Something I know, Arham said. He's not just here to watch. He's planning something. That evening, Arham received an email from the summit team. It had a strange file attached. When he opened it, it showed pictures of his invention taken secretly, documents with fake claims, and one shocking detail, a patent request filed under Fawad's company name using Arham's idea. Arham's heart sank. He's trying to steal it, he whispered. Nadia read it too. He wants to act like it was his invention. He'll show up tomorrow with proof, and once it's approved, your name will be erased. Arham stood up. Not this time. They contacted the summit head, but the reply was cold. We must investigate first. Mr. Fawad has a strong history in the field. Shahid called them from Pakistan. Don't panic, he said. We'll help from here. You just need one thing. What Arham asked? Proof. Real proof that this idea was always yours. Nadia pulled out her laptop. I saved your earliest design files, the first video, and timestamps. If we can link these to your first social media posts, we can build a solid case. They worked all night collecting posts, voice notes, WhatsApp messages from 2 years ago, even pictures of Arham working with wires in the garage. It wasn't just about winning, it was about protecting a dream. At 4:30 a.m., they sent a full report to the summit head. At 6 a.m., they got the reply. Case reopened. Fawad's patent request is now under investigation. Please be present at 10 a.m. Arham leaned back. He looked out the window at the white Berlin sky. His eyes were tired but calm. I didn't come this far to be silent, he said. They tried to break me on the road. Then with my past. Now with my invention. And every time, Nadia said, you stood back up. But neither of them knew at the summit hearing that morning, someone else would walk in. Someone who had once betrayed Arham but was now ready to tell the truth.